We've all wondered at some stage in our lives what Kevin McCallister's dad did for a living in Home Alone. We never find out what this day job is, but apparently it's pretty swanky to afford a plush mansion, surely worth a few bob, 5 kids, a wife who can afford to stay at home and look after said 5 kids, plus a trip to France, including first-class seats. Air miles can go a long way, but not that far. Now one fan theory related to the 1990 classic starring Macaulay Culkin in the role of Kevin has resurfaced that has us shaken and stirred, and on first glance it appeared a pretty ironclad theory about what Peter McCallister does for a living. On Reddit, where all great theories form, one fan of the franchise put forth a theory of what old mate Pete does to make ends meet, and apparently he's a hardcore crim. Home Alone is one of my favorite movies of all time, and as such, I've seen it about 1,000,000 times. They began proving their worth in shoveling such a theory forward. Watching it over the years, you start to realize things that didn't pop out as a kid. One of the things I noticed was that Kevin's dad, Peter, has something fishy going on. My theory is that he's some kind of mid-level criminal for the mob or something. Oh, they wasted no time in giving us a piece of the pie, did they? But why do they feel this way? First, the very first time we see Peter is when Harry is dressed as a cop scoping the place out. Peter is way defensive in this interaction. All Harry does is ask if he's the owner of the house, and Peter jumps straight to, "Am I in some kind of trouble, officer?" The look in his face is on edge the whole time he's talking to Harry. Secondly, we never find out what he does. They don't mention where he works, or his background, or anything. Now in the book adaptation of the movie they say something about him being in business. That's pretty vague. But Peter makes enough money to have a wife that doesn't work and like 5 kids. He also has a house that is worth like $1.5 million. This Redditor then explains Harry calls the McCallister mansion the Silver Tuna and Big Score, meaning there is a lot of worth in robbing the joint, even though there isn't anything particularly flashy or grand about the place. It's just big. Finally, this one is kind of weak, but look at how his family carries themselves. Kevin's mom is a cold, emotionally dead bitch who says terrible things to her 8-year-old son. Buzz is a fucking psychopath who is probably set up to follow in his dad's footsteps. Uncle Frank's is obviously a crook of some kind. Then there's Kevin, who seems completely okay with killing 2 robbers. I don't think his intent was to bunk them on the noggin. He was out for blood. I mean, when I was 8 I knew that if I dropped an iron on someone's head from 20 feet they would die. Yeah, okay, look, he's not wrong, but still a bit of a long bow. They concluded. Plus, the whole family has terrible manners. Just look at the scene when Kevin's mom is trying to use the payphone in Paris, and a woman is already using it. The whole family just muscles the poor woman off the phone. Then there's Kevin, who seems completely okay with killing 2 robbers. I don't think his intent was to bunk them on the noggin. He was out for blood. That was all there, hard evidence, before he threw this in for good measure. Also, this jumps to the second film, but remember how much cash was in his bag that Kevin ended up with. He had thousands of dollars in cash. The early 90s were the time of traveler's checks, plus they weren't leaving the country, so there wasn't a ton of reason to bring that much cash, unless you're a criminal who deals in cash. Fans were offering up their own thoughts on the whole palaver. One said, "Usually on here people here make up a scenario and try to force the story to fit it. This one were really convincing." Another mentioned the scene when the pizza delivery guy was the target of a recording of a old-timey film shooting to scare off the potential robbers. They said, "I believe that the pizza delivery scene really ties into this as well." The delivery kid's reaction wasn't, "This stupid guy is playing a joke," or "This is a recording," or something along those lines. He knew this house. He knew who lived here. Even if he didn't know the specifics, he knew this was a mobster's house. That's why his reaction wasn't to be skeptical, and why he thought it was real. Sick, don't mind us, our brain is now just in overdrive and scrambling to find a version of the film to watch just for nostalgia's sake. If you've got a story, video, or pictures, get in touch with the metro.co.uk entertainment team by emailing us celebtips@metro.co.uk, calling 020-361-52145 or by visiting our Submit Stuff page. We'd love to hear from you. More, the IT crowd is getting another US reboot and even the show's stars don't know why. More, Game of Thrones Season 8, Arya Stark to become a whole fist lord. Latest fan theory could be on point.